They stripped me down in front of 200 of the toughest, most arrogant trainees you'll ever see, expecting shame, maybe tears. Thinking they'd break me like they'd broken so many before. What they didn't expect was the presidential service tattoo running straight down my spine. The kind of ink that makes even a Master Chief's blood run cold. And in that instant, everything changed. You ever have a moment where the whole room just stops, eyes wide? Every assumption they had about you turned upside down? Yeah, that was me, right there on the cold floor at Little Creek, and trust me, nothing in the official handbook prepares you for that kind of reveal. But let me back up a sec, because you need to understand how a woman like me, Maya Sinclair, ends up at the Naval Special Warfare Training Center in the first place, stepping off the bus with nothing but a duffel and paperwork so redacted it looked like someone had blacked out half my life. 31 years old, hair in a plain bun, no makeup, no jewelry, just a face nobody remembered 5 minutes later. I looked more like the person shelving books at the base library than someone trying out for the world's most brutal military program. Meanwhile, the other candidates? Every one of them looked like they just walked off a recruitment poster. Broad shoulders, sharp uniforms, the kind of confidence that says I've already been to hell and back. What's next? The minute I walked through registration, I could feel the questions, the judgment, because my file, well, let's just say it raised more eyebrows than a bar fight. The clerk scanning my forms tried to play it cool, but his hands were shaking, and the only words out of his mouth were, "Ma'am, this is unusual." I just told him, if there's a problem, talk to the program administrator. Simple as that. He processed me anyway, but the way he looked at me, you'd think he was handling a bomb. Bunk assignments were where the real fun began. My spot was next to Victoria Blake, a Marine whose arms could have been mistaken for tree trunks, and who had 3 combat tours under her belt. She wasted no time. "What's your story, sweetheart? Which general's daughter are you?" I kept folding my gear, didn't rise to the bait. "I'm here for the program, same as everyone else." Blake snorted. She was used to being the alpha and couldn't figure out why I wasn't scrambling to prove myself or running scared. "You do realize this isn't summer camp, right?" she said, eyeing my civvies. All around us, the other women were sizing me up, deciding if I was dead weight or just another joke. Then there was Lewis, an Army Ranger, built like a tank, who asked the same question everyone else was thinking. "What unit did you serve with?" I told her, various capacities. Can't discuss specifics. It was the truth, but nobody likes a mystery. Especially in a place where you earn every inch. That just made them more suspicious, more resentful. Derek Mason, Navy EOD, chimed in from the next bay, arms folded. "A little too confident. I think someone pulled strings to get you here. This is for real operators, not office tourists." I just said, "Time will tell if I belong." You could see it annoyed him. The way I wouldn't bite. Meanwhile, I'm making my bed to regulation perfection, every corner tight, blanket taut. You know what I mean? The kind of details that tell people you've done this before, even if they don't know where or when. That first night, I was the odd one out, sitting quietly, taking notes in a little book, while the rest swapped war stories, names, ranks, forming alliances. People thought I was writing a diary, but really, I was building psychological profiles, observing weaknesses, cataloging habits. Old skills die hard. When training started, they watched me for signs of breaking. I was up before the alarm, uniform ready, moving efficient, habit drilled in from years when oversleeping meant dying. Blake shot me a look. "Hope you've been hitting the gym, princess." The first run and obstacle course were tough. By normal standards, brutal. I stayed mid-pack, efficient, not showy. While Lewis kept glancing back like she was waiting for me to collapse. But I wasn't struggling, not really. And that bugged them more than if I'd been winning. Obstacle course. Rope climbs. My technique was clean, not flashy, but good enough that Blake started to look uneasy. I'd learned to use leverage and timing over brute force. Less about power. More about staying in the fight. Between rounds, I wrote in my notebook, and the others started whispering. What's she writing? Who's she really reporting to? That's when the paranoia began. And with it, the hostility. Lieutenant Nathan Cross, our instructor, kept a close eye on me, waiting for me to fall apart under pressure. But when we did a tactical movement exercise, moving through the woods, avoiding enemy observers, I made it to the objective undetected, using routes nobody else saw. Reading the terrain in ways you don't learn in basic training. Cross confronted me. Where'd you learn to move like that? Various training courses, sir. I replied, letting him fill in the blanks. Word spread. Now, I was more than an outsider. I was a threat. The other candidates whispered that I must be a washout from some special unit, or worse, a spy sent to grade them. That's when Blake decided to make me her project. She started organizing the others, turning suspicion into a campaign, Operation Reality Check, as they called it. I documented every move they made. Who joined in, who stood by, who looked away. Their plan? Sabotage me during a field problem, rig my gear, set me up to fail, prove I wasn't up to it. But they didn't know who they were messing with. Blake challenged me in front of everyone. She was bigger, stronger, certain she'd humiliate me. She threw her best punches, and I let her momentum work against her. Used technique over strength. Never overcommit. Just kept resetting, making her look clumsy and slow. After 2 failed attempts, everyone could see she'd been outclassed. Her ego couldn't take it. Their campaign escalated. Equipment started going missing. My bunk trashed in random inspections. Cross thought this was some kind of team-building test. He had no idea. Then came the big exercise, team assignments, 15-mile NAV, intel gathering. Blake, Mason, Lewis, and a couple others made sure I was on their squad. Sabotage after sabotage, and still, I led the team through, never showing stress, always with a backup plan. The breaking point came during the final evaluation, hostage rescue, compound infiltration, live fire simulation. Blake, now fully obsessed, ordered me to lead a suicide assault. No planning, just go. I nodded, checked my gear, and melted into the tree lane. The evaluators watched as I bypassed every sensor. Every guard, moving with the kind of precision you get from real-world black ops, not training simulations. Guards reported gear failures, sensors blinked out. The compound fell apart under the weight of their own assumptions. I completed the mission in 18 minutes, solo, when the average team needed an hour. Hostage recovered, 0 casualties. Intel in hand. When I returned, uniform perfect, not even out of breath, you could see Blake finally realized what she'd been up against. Then the Master Chief arrived, with officers in tow. They called me forward, demanded to see credentials. I stripped off my uniform shirt, and the room went dead silent. Everyone staring at the tattoo, no one there had clearance to even talk about. The fallout was immediate. Blake, Mason, Lewis, relieved of duty on the spot, pending investigation. Their sabotage, their harassment, all now evidence in a classified inquiry. The rest of the candidates? Shaken, wondering what I'd write in my report, whether their silence or complicity would end their careers. The instructors, the command staff. Everyone realized the whole system had failed to recognize actual competence, blinded by bias and tradition. That was just the beginning. Within weeks, training protocols changed. Blind evaluations. 0 tolerance for harassment. New definitions of leadership and strength. The Sinclair Protocol spread throughout the military, even reaching allied forces, law enforcement, private security. Operators who once would have been weeded out for not fitting the mold were now recognized as assets, not liabilities. Promotions, retention, even mission success rates went up. People finally understood that the most dangerous operatives are the ones nobody sees coming. If you made it this far, I've got to ask, what do you think? Who gets to decide what real strength looks like? Drop your thoughts below, argue it out, because these are the stories that shape how we define justice, community, and leadership. And if you want more, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story, well, you might just see yourself in it.